Hello, welcome to another episode of Time with Tom. My name is Tom Ruesink. I'm the VP of Marketing and Product Management for Cornerstone Information Systems. And today, we're happy to be joined by Mat Domaradzki. And periodically in these Time with Tom episodes, what we like to do is just talk with industry thought leaders about various topics that are relevant in the industry today. And one that we hear a lot about is blockchain. So I asked Mat to join us to help us kind of break down a little bit what is blockchain, how it affects the travel industry, and I think you'll really enjoy talking to him today. So welcome, Mat. Glad you could join us.
Thank you for having me.
You bet. And if you could, just tell us a little bit about how you first became interested and involved in kind of the whole realm of blockchain.
Yeah, like many, I've been hearing about blockchain and, of course, cryptocurrencies for a very long time. But I kind of just fell into it. I wanted to become a travel manager for a company when I moved to New York. So I was looking around for a job and I was lucky to get one at Consensus. Consensus is the largest blockchain company in the world. They were founded by one of the original four founders of the Ethereum blockchain, and their goal is to propagate, blockchain technology and the knowledge of it. And so I got very lucky that I got placed as their travel manager, and they wanted everybody to be 100% in on blockchain.
Absolutely. And I know you've written a real good article as well, an op-ed in the company Dime as well. For those who've heard about blockchain but really don't know what it is, how would you explain blockchain to them?
Yeah, well, let's start off with the first thing. It's not cryptocurrency. Let's get that out of the way. A blockchain technology is the underlying technology behind cryptocurrency. And, a lot of people today are saying, crypto is really just a store of value, which is more or less correct in something like Bitcoin. But blockchain, I think, is the more exciting part, the more interesting thing. And the potential for it is quite huge. To describe it easily, it's the best way is to describe it as an evolution of the ledger. It's distributed, and so what I mean by that, it's on all sorts of computers of all sorts of people around the world, and so it's decentralized. So it makes it very difficult for malicious actors to steal all the information and change the code or something like that. If everybody's got the same copy of the same transactions, then you can confirm that someone is trying to do something, and so it becomes very safe from attacks. But more than that, it's also the best way to a finer way to describe it is it's kind of like a series of blocks that after one block is laid, you can't go back and then change the previous block and the coding and the numbers, as you can imagine in a ledger. So they like to say it's immutable, which means it's unchangeable. Once some transaction has been written, you can't change it. And so that's, I think, a lot of where the beauty in blockchain is. It's a record that will never be changed, and you can always refer to it. And it's not just kept in, someone's computer somewhere in a basement. It's open to everybody. And also, the word, cryptocurrencies comes from the fact that it's very cryptographically secure. So that's supposed to help people feel safe that nobody can just hack it and change everything like we were just talking about. So those are some of the most important things, but, building on that, the one thing that I think is most important for the evolution and the future of it is the fact that a lot of the new type of blockchains, including the original new blockchain, which was Ethereum after Bitcoin, utilize smart contracts. So they allow for a lot of things to happen on them. And, a lot of people know about, the crypto kitties and today non-fungible tokens. And I won't get into that whole mess, but I will say the cool thing is smart contracts are just like legal document between people, and they self-execute. So you don't need to get lawyers involved. And you can say, if you perform such and such service for me, I will pay such and such amount. And then you allow it to execute contracts on the chain itself, and you don't need to worry about confirmation or people confirming that it's valid. It's all set up via coding on the blockchain, and so it has a lot of potential for a lot of things.
And yeah, thank you for that answer, because I know in reading about it, it was fascinating. So where is it really? I mean, what are the uses today in the travel industry? Either current uses or potential uses that you see?
Yeah, I would like to say it's nascent still. We're in the early days, so let's be clear about that. But it's got a lot of practical usage already out of it. I always like to tell my friends when I'm talking about this, because we have heated discussions about it and its future. AI was really started in the 60s and 70s. And a lot of money was thrown into AI technology, and these AI companies cropped up and then they went nowhere. And then today, AI is everywhere, from, working on our refrigerators to, answering messages for us when we reach out to American Airlines. So, the blockchain's technology is going to need some time to evolve, but we've already got some hard examples. At Consensus, I worked with a colleague of mine who was also deeply involved in the travel business, and he created Smart Hotel Rate. And they're trying to use blockchain technology to allow companies to check if they are getting the rates that they secured at hotels through contracts. So it's like a system that allows you to self-check it. And if it doesn't come out good, they catch that. Other ways, bigger companies are something like BlockSky. They're a company that's trying to work and help companies, major companies, allow their employees to book directly. So they will work with a United Airlines, let's say, or Lufthansa or Cathay Pacific, and they'll allow that person to book instead straight with that company, and they'll use blockchain technology to confirm that it's okay. They'll use blockchain technology to get the rates that they've secured with those airlines, and they'll also help with the transaction piece on it in facilitating that. And then another space is Winding Tree. They're a pretty huge company now, one of the original companies, and they're working with all sorts of companies out there. I've got a list from Iberia to that owns then British Airways, and then KLM, hotel groups, and they're working with a lot of people to create what is essentially a decentralized market. So what it allows for is, instead of having to use a GDS or an OTA, you can work directly in this marketplace, and companies can provide their inventory and anybody could buy it. And there's no gatekeeper. And that's one of the biggest things about blockchain technology, is taking away the middlemen, decentralizing everything, reducing the money that we have to pay for those middlemen. Now, middlemen, I think, will probably be around for quite some time, because we feel security coming from these gatekeepers for, safety reasons. But, it's a great start where, you create an open, transparent marketplace where you can exchange goods, and you don't need to worry about it paying a huge fee to anybody when you do that. Imagine if you have one ledger that everybody uses, you can then load up the information that you actually got vaccinated or not, and everybody can hopefully access that. And I think that'd be great. And also, what I was talking about with Smart Hotel Rate, they do allow for that. They allow you to check that the hotel rates have been given, and then you can see that it's okay, and then the commission is paid immediately at that point in time. So no reconciliation process, actually, which is
it's a pain point right now, definitely.
Oh, yes. I used to work at Hilton for 10 years, so I know.
And so as far as, next steps, where, if somebody wants to learn more about blockchain, what are some resources, or can they contact you or reach out to you? And if so, we'll put your email on screen. I think, again, it's a fascinating topic. So what would you recommend for next steps if somebody wants to dive a little deeper into blockchain?
Yeah, I say feel free to give out my email address. I'd love to talk about this. It's a great topic. It's interesting. It's the future. But This sounds almost, juvenile saying it, but I would really just hop online, and Google blockchain. Great sites like Investopedia have a good primer on it and explain in very simple terms. You mentioned the article that I published not the article I published, but with the helps of the publishers at Company Dime that I put together on blockchain. That was supposed to be a primer because, let's be honest, it's still new and confusing and it could use some learning.
Perfect. And a quick question on what do you think might be the reason that we haven't seen more of it in the travel industry today? Is it just that it's so new, or is there other reasons? Is it hard to get people to agree to be able to share information? What do you think would be the biggest kind of barrier so far?
Oh man, I have a lot of answers for that. But I will say that it is new, like we talked about. But we are going through a pandemic, and one of the hardest hits industry was travel. And when you're just trying to stay afloat, you're not really too concerned about trying to just stay ahead of the game, or you're just trying to stay alive. But I feel that once we come out of this pandemic, that people will start investing more in it, researching it more, utilizing it more. But right now, I don't think that's really, there's just the money to go around for that. So I feel that is probably the easiest answer, and it almost seems like a cop out, but it truly is something that people need to invest in. And like AI, like I said, it takes time to evolve and change and develop. And, you have to win the hearts and minds of people.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. So you can't escape Time with Tom without getting at least one fun question. So we'll ask you, let's see. How about when you're not feeling 100%, what's your comfort food and why?
It's quite easy. It's like they say, chicken soup for the soul. It's just
You
regular
are
chicken
noodle
soup with me though. Yeah. My mom is from Poland. She's got this old Polish home recipe she made for me growing up, and I got it from her. And when I'm sick, even if I could barely stand up, I'll make that soup for myself. And even though it doesn't have magical properties to it, I believe it does.
So now, if I dare say, we'll give your email out and the address. Will we give the recipe out in your address?
Yes.
Or is that a family secret? You're willing to share?
No. Yes, I'm willing to share. We got some, special ingredients in there. So
Awesome.
yes.
Awesome. So I can't wait to see that. So I appreciate your time today. It's very, very much enjoyed talking to you, Matt, and wish you all the best. Take care.
Thank you. You too, Tom.